Alright, what's up people? Don's Gaming Enterprise here, and I'm bringing you some actual tips from Mass Effect 3 while I play human female sentinel. Unfortunately, I still haven't unlocked the Tyrian Sentinel or Krogan Soldier, which is why I have not uploaded gameplay of either of those classes. I found the Engineer class boring, so I didn't upload any Quarian gameplay, but I wanted to throw some tips in there because I played earlier today with random people. And if you've been in the BioWare forums, you know there's a lot of people who complain about, you know, noobs and scrubs. But I thought people were just whining. And I consistently played with my PSN friends. But today, before I partied up with them today, and I am with them in this video, so all three guys I'm playing with in this video are actually my PSN friends. But before I partied up with these guys, I tried playing with random people, and holy shit, some people fucking suck. Like, it's not even funny. I mean, I'm not even talking about lower level guys right now. I'm talking about people whose N7 level is in the 40s and 50s, and they're hopping in games with level 16 characters. Now, what I mean is, your N7 level is actually all of your character levels added all the way up. Okay? And some people just don't understand what flanking means. I mean, if you've never played Mass Effect before, you just hopped in, yeah, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But some people are so bad to the point where I wonder if they play the same way when they're playing Uncharted or Battlefield. Are they do they play the same way? If so, I could tell you probably get owned a lot online. It's not even funny. Now, I wanted to give some tips because it's not just these guys. It's other people who struggle because you know, they're actually just hopping into this for the first time, or they're not that familiar with Mass Effect, or they only played 2. They're actually pretty good, but they're having a hard time. First of all, my PSN friends list is almost full, so I'm a little skeptical to add people now. I counted my friends today. I'm at 85, and that's a little too many. I'm actually thinking about deleting some people, but I talked to a lot of people on my friends list. But whatever. Before I go off topic, first of all, BioWare designed these enemies a certain way. If you've played previous Mass Effect games, I'm going to tell you now, this is not the same AI as Mass Effect 1 and 2. You no longer get anywhere by just sitting in the same spot, thinking you could just pop off shots, because enemies move around a lot. And not just moving around as in utilizing cover, so they can avoid you trying to just sit in the same spot and pick them off. But enemies will actually, you know, run up and try to flank you or go around. And if you're standing behind the same cover, they'll actually split up, go around, and actually flank you from both sides. And this has happened to me on Silver and Gold. I'm playing on Silver right now. We should have played on Gold, though, because this felt a little too easy. And I'm going to cut the video off where I died because I was playing like an idiot and got killed by a Phantom about 19 minutes in. And I'll just cut it off right there because it gets boring after that. But anyway, they designed these enemies a certain way. And I'm only going to talk about Cerberus. All enemies have these same 5 roles, but I'm only talking about Cerberus since that's who enemies were playing in the demo. Now, you have your cover shooter. These are basically, you know, grunts, so to say, and the enemies that fill that role are the Assault Troopers and Centurions, and I'm actually fighting both of them right now. Assault Troopers, they're armed with the SMG, a Hornet. If you're familiar with Mass Effect 3, you know what the Hornet is, a submachine gun. And the Centurion's armed with the Matic, a modified Matic gun that shoots smoke grenades. Now, you know, they're your basic grunts, so you can get by just shooting at them. But in number, Centurions are pretty deadly since they actually have shields and they take more damage. And they can become really troublesome when in numbers. Yeah, but the smoke grenades can be annoying at a time because sometimes they'll shoot it and then kind of, you know, back off and hide. Or if they're in a group, they'll actually shoot smoke grenades and then kind of go around. They use it to conceal the way they move, man. Other people are just fooling around with the way they actually are, but they really do utilize the smoke grenades to try to hide. Or if you're sniping, you'll just hit them one time and their health will go all the way down, but they're not dead yet, and they'll just shoot a smoke grenade and kind of run away. I've seen them do this a lot of times. Also, they have these little electric batons, so if you get too close, they'll actually hit you with it. On Gold, obviously, that means they drop your shields by doing that. Anyway, the next role is Cover Buster. Cover Busters are enemies that'll get close to you and basically try to force you out of cover if you're sitting there. Again, another reason why you can't just sit in the same spot as shooting enemies. And the Guardians fill that role because they have the shields, obviously, and they move in closer. Some people wonder, How do Guardians drop out health so fast with that pistol? Well, they're armed with the pistol called the Talon, if I'm not mistaken. I may have mispronounced it, but whatever. The Talon pistol basically shoots shotgun pellets, so it's like a shotgun pistol. So yeah, that's how they drop your shield so fast. Now, that's their only goal. In numbers, they're pretty dangerous. If you're not an adept, or if you don't have any biotic powers, they can be pretty troublesome. Especially if you don't have a sniper rifle, if you don't got any sniping skills, they can be pretty troublesome in numbers because you're trying to deal with other enemies, and if there are 3 or 4 of them closing in on you on gold harder difficulties, you're pretty much in trouble. Let's see, cover shooter, cover buster. What else we got? Support. That's the third one. Support are basically enemies that kind of, obviously support enemies on the battlefield by taking up space or whatever. And the enemy that fills this role is the combat engineer, because he drops the turret, taking up space, and the enemy sometimes will huddle around the turret. I've seen this on gold. They don't really do it as much on bronze or silver. Well, they don't do it on bronze, and they don't really do it that much on silver. But on gold, you'll notice sometimes enemies will kind of huddle around the turret. And also, the combat engineer is there for support because he'll repair the turret if you're not quick enough, and he'll repair the atlas if you're not quick enough. So that's what a support role is. A suppressor are enemies that try to force you to stay in cover. The nemesis, because she has a sniper rifle, and on any difficulty, one shot will drop your shields. So you don't want that really happening to you, especially on higher difficulties, because that means you'll probably die. Let's say she drops your shield and then there's a centurion right there in your face, or a turret, you'll die really fast. So nemesis is a suppressor, and they're there to kind of keep you in cover, force you to stay in cover. And the last role is a slow pressure enemy. Slow pressure enemies are typically big enemies that'll slowly kind of maneuver towards you, while the closer they get, the more dangerous they get, or they get more dangerous and they'll do something crazy or something really powerful if you leave them out alone for a long time. And the Atlas fills this category. A big mech slowly moving towards you, obviously shoots missiles and a rapid fire cannon or something. That explains why sometimes he just hits you again and again. If you've gotten hit multiple times in a row by a Atlas, it's likely you've gotten hit by the little cannon. But the rocket actually follows you. There are times where I've tried to roll and it still hits me. It's pretty weird. And if he gets too close, he'll execute you and pick you up with the claw, blah blah blah. So yeah, cover shooter, cover buster, suppressor, support, and slow pressure. This is the way they design the enemies, and they've stated this before. Now, there are enemies that actually is a hybrid of all these roles, and that is the combat engineer, because he's also a suppressor due to the turret. The turret kind of forces you to, kind of get down, take cover. And the Phantom, she's actually a cover buster, cover shooter, and a slow pressure enemy. She's a cover shooter because she has some kind of palm blaster. Now, I do actually think that needs to be a little nerfed, a little too powerful, dropping my shields in like 2 hits. And then there's her sword will actually just knock you out of cover, of course, so that makes her a cover buster. And she's a slow pressure enemy because she does try to get close to you. Now, dealing with her, there are a variety of ways, but you have to be aware of all the things she could do first. First of all, if her health gets low, then she'll actually cloak and try to run away. And if you don't stay on, she'll turn completely invisible. But yeah, there are a lot of ways you can deal with her. First of all, if you're a Vanguard, yeah, you can pretty much pwn her in a one-on-one fight. If you're a Adept, Stasis, you can pwn her in a one-on-one fight. Otherwise, if you're like my class, a Sentinel or a Soldier, you kind of have to keep her at mid-range to long range. You don't want to get too close. If you're a Krogan, you're going to have to time your melees right, or she's going to stab you. If you mistime the headbutt wrong, she's going to kill you. I've seen it happen before. So yeah, you might want to time your headbutts and charge moves right. But yeah, she's not that hard when you have a good team. Guardians, moves like shockwaves, throw, what else? Well, those are the only powers I could think of. Throw and shockwave actually staggers them and causes them to kind of drop the shield for a couple seconds, and that's usually enough time to shoot them up with an assault rifle or a pistol and kill them, or one of your teammates can actually do something for you. If you're having a sniper rifle and you got sniping skills, you can shoot them through the little mail slide. I've done this before. If you have the Widow, you can actually shoot through shields. I don't know if the Claymore does this, but the Widow actually shoots through shields and other cover, so yeah, you're pretty much covered. Let's see. I mean, the Atlas is pretty easy because it's just a big target, especially if all your teammates are shooting on it. But if you're playing on gold, I recommend you kind of save the missiles for the later rounds. You know, when more Phantoms arrive, when more Atlases arrive. They're normally troublesome once they come in groups. When there's 2 or 3 of them at a time, and you don't really know what to do. And make sure if there's a combat engineer near the Atlas, you kill it first so it doesn't repair the Atlas. But yeah, also something I've noticed, the Nemesis and Phantom, they actually work together. The Nemesis will actually sit in the same spot for an extended period of time, because you know, when you get close to her, she's pretty much done because she'll try to run away from you. There are times where she'll actually sit in cover so you can get close, only for a Phantom to kind of pop out of nowhere. So the Phantom actually kind of baits the Nemesis, so you can get near on purpose just so the Phantom can pop out and stab you. I've actually died like this before. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, so if you see the Nemesis staying in the same spot and you're actually shooting at her, she's not moving, that means the Phantom could actually be nearby, baiting her or baiting you to come take the bait or whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, and another tip, and I'm gonna say this because this is on a lot of good players' minds. If you're not level 10 yet, I'd recommend you not go on gold. Basically, there's bronze, silver, gold settings. Bronze is easy, silver is medium, gold is hard, like really hard. And if you're not level 10 yet, I really recommend you not go to gold, because you'll get raped really fast, especially if you're with random people. If you can play on silver if you're not level 10 yet, but especially if you're with friends. So if you're with friends, you know, you're pretty flexible in the options you can go, especially since you're communicating and you got your mics. But if you're not level 10, you're level 3, I really recommend you don't go to gold, because you're not going to get past the first round without dying at least 4 or 5 times. And you're going to get kicked when the whole team fails, because people don't like when lower levels jump into a random match at gold and, you know, losing like that. I recommend bronze until you actually get used to your character, at least, or once you master the way your character is supposed to play. You're playing with friends and you're still like level 8. There's nothing wrong with playing on silver. But I still am not sure if you should try gold in that situation, because your shields and health might not be high enough and whatnot. And you know, it's just, no, too many Phantoms, too many turrets, too many Atlases. Another problem, I've noticed a lot of people hate when somebody doesn't wear a mic during the game. Now, first of all, when I'm playing by myself, I never wear a mic. I only wear a mic when I'm playing with friends, because I don't really want to talk to random people. I know that sounds kind of weird, but considering some of the friends I've made on this game are people that I've played with randomly, but very few. All of the PSN friends I'm playing with right now are people that I've actually, you know, they were already on my list when I actually played. Otherwise, you playing online, you don't feel like talking to random people. That's just the mindset. There are some people who generally need a mic. Oh, and you see right there, my friend just died with a turret. If you're a Krogan, I recommend you be careful if you're trying to charge a turret on the higher difficulties, because it can literally drop your entire team in seconds. So yeah. But anyway, somebody not wearing a mic, it's because they don't want to talk to random people, or they just don't have a mic. Hey, but whose fault is that? I mean, that's not really, you know, something you should get angry at them for. Just want to point that out, because when I play with random people, I don't use a mic. Heavy melee attacks, you hold down the circle button and they'll perform some kind of melee attack. Now, people think that they're kind of fluky in multiplayer because they're kind of slow, considering some of them are faster than others. I think the best heavy melees in terms of speed are the Vanguards and maybe the Sentinels, because you kind of lunge forward. I think the Vanguard's heavy melee is the fastest. Otherwise, the point of the heavy melee is that it's a high risk, high reward. If you time it right, if you stagger the opponent, it's a perfect time to pull it off. Or if you have a Nemesis you get close to her, you can just keep doing that to her. You can even crack the Phantom up if you time it right, but otherwise you're pretty screwed if you don't time your heavy melee right, especially on gold, because you miss and they'll end up meleeing you, and then you'll probably be, you know, be dead. Unless you're a Krogan, you may have a better chance, but otherwise you're gonna have to just time that right. Another thing I want people to understand is the whole weight capacity power bonus thing. The higher the weight capacity, the higher the power cooldown. So the special weapons in the game, the Widow, Claymore, Revenant, if you've played Mass Effect before, you know what I'm talking about. These weapons have a very high weight capacity, so if you choose these weapons, you might want to only stick with those weapons unless your passive ability and fitness is maxed out, because then you'll have your weight capacity points will drop, and or you can lower the weight capacity, thus increasing your cooldowns, and you'll be able to go into matches with these kind of weapons, but you'll be able to add another weapon on the side. Now, when I'm an infiltrator using the Widow, I generally like to just stick with the Widow, especially when I'm with friends, because again, I got the Widow. That's, everybody dies with one hit on gold, maybe 2 hits depending on where I aim, but shooting through walls, shooting through shields, yeah, I don't really need any other weapon for that, especially when my other friends are playing Sentinel and they're tanking around and somebody else has the adept, so I'm pretty good in that situation. But you can only choose 2 weapons, and if you're an adept, you might want to choose, like a submachine gun and an assault rifle. I recommend the Matic and the Phalanx. The Matic is better than the Avenger. If you have the Revenant, I don't recommend choosing the Revenant if you're an adept, considering you want to dish out Singularity and Stasis a lot. If you're a Vanguard, I'd recommend just choosing 1 shotgun or maybe just 1 pistol. I don't recommend 2 weapons as a Vanguard. Some people do it, but I just recommend only having 1 weapon so you can charge like crazy, especially if you're pretty experienced with that class. A lot of people don't like the Claymore because the recharge times are long, but I don't mind them at all. I've played on gold before using the Claymore with a Draw Vanguard, with friends of course. I think people kind of over exaggerate in terms of the recharge times of the Claymore, but I'm just saying, pay attention to your weight capacity and cooldowns, and your passive ability and fitness is mainly responsible. Well, it's one of those. I can't really remember. It's either your passive ability or fitness that actually lowers your weight capacity points, so you're able to have quicker cooldowns. I can't exactly remember what it is, but whatever. Anyway, if you're playing with random people, you're likely not gonna, last that long, especially if they don't really know what they're doing. I strongly recommend you play with friends. If you're not playing with friends, I recommend starting with classes like an infiltrator, since the infiltrator class is really good for somebody that wants to do things on their own, because you can just simply cloak and snipe, and kind of go off on your own, and then revive people when you're by yourself. Otherwise, I strongly recommend you play with friends, even if it's just with 1 other person. Also, it's pretty powerful splitting up into 2 different teams. And remember the word flank. If you see 2 or 3 of your teammates in one area, I recommend you not, stay in the same area as them, kind of go around. I've actually done this multiple times in the video, like the spot we're in right now. If you're just, all 4 of you are just standing in the same spot, you're going to get outflanked and shot from every direction, leading to a quick death. And I'm actually about to die right now because this is actually the part where I died. So I'm probably going to cut the video off right after I die, and boom. That's pretty much it, and I'm out.